Good morning, everyone. We are here. Welcome to FYI. This is Director Finance. Welcome to For Your Information. This morning it is Wednesday, 30th of March, 2022. And this morning I'm starting you off again by myself. But you know, Sharon is going to be in a minute. So don't get too worried. I hope that all is well. I hope the guys can release a comment section this morning as I'm talking with you. I know, Beatrice, I saw you on waiting a little bit earlier. I see Siobhan McDonald also on waiting there this morning. It's always good to have you part of the FYI family. Guys, you know the drill. As you come on, make sure the first thing you do is share the live stream. Don't get comfortable. Just make sure that you share the live stream so everyone out there could be getting credible information throughout the day. This is the only way to start your day with credible information with your FYI family. There has never been a time that we have misguided you with information that is not credible. So make sure that you tell a friend, invite a friend to join the live feed, and so that the information could be spread throughout. So as we get into this morning, before actually we get into this morning's discussion, let me know what is going on out there. Let me know what you're having for breakfast this morning. As you know, this is a breakfast table. This is a morning show. So we're always interested in what you're having for breakfast. And it's always nice to see persons in different parts of the country, in different parts of the world, what they're having for breakfast. So let me know where you're joining from this morning. And I want the guys to release my screen once more so I can get to the comments and what is going on with you. But Beatrice, I don't know if you're out and about this morning. I see Keith Dowling saying good morning to you. Good morning to you. I see Paula Mattis is joining this morning. Is this Sasha Trim? Good morning to you, Sasha. You know, the FYI family is just growing and growing all the time. I see a question. I think it just went back so fast about share, but we're gonna get to that. Vashti Magnot. Hey, good morning to you, Vashti, that is joining us from Waterloo. Good morning. I see Marilyn Thomas is here this morning also, and June Chase. Guys, be sure to drop in the comment section where exactly you're joining from. A whole lot of comments. I want to see where you're joining from. It's most important that we understand the reach of the program. It is so important to us to make sure. I see Loretta Roberts is in Guyana. Well, hey, Loretta, we're here home together. I see Joyce Prince is here joining this morning also. Good morning to you, Joyce. As the FYI family grows, you know, we're already almost through with an entire other month. And as we grow as a family, we have to be extending our reach. So make sure you press that share. If you're in various groups, you can share to the groups, and our platform is wide, especially folks that are joining us on YouTube. I know a lot of persons that don't live in Guyana usually join through YouTube. I encourage you to share through YouTube. I'm not going to be doing the shared live stream on and smash the emoji signals as yet. I'm going to let that be shared signature moves. So you guys are going to wait for that in a little bit. So I see Marilyn Thomas is saying, I'm joining from Queens on my way to work. Yeah, a lot of folks that are joining us this morning is on their way to work. Folks, be careful out there. If you know that you're driving, make sure that you are extremely safe this morning. I see Sherry Baskin Grenade is joining us from Barbados. Good morning to you, Sherry. Sherry, I like the fact that you tune in every morning from Barbados. You make us feel all special over here. So good morning to you. Marlon King, good morning to you, beautiful lady. Oh, thank you so much. Good morning to you too. I see Weldad Village, West Coast is in the house this morning. I see Volme Wilson is joining us from Weldad. So it's nice to have you this morning. This is the first time, I know that Volme Wilson's always here, but it's the first time I think I saw the her comment that she's joining from Weldad. So it's absolutely lovely to have someone joining from Weldad this morning. Yes, I'm late today. I am late today. You know, some mornings you have some technical challenges that you just can't avoid. Well, today is one of those days. So Barbados, I see Barbados Pauline is in the house this morning. What's going on in Barbados this morning? What's the weather like in Barbados this Wednesday morning? I see Andrew Cusbert. Good morning to you, Andrew. What's going on? Beatrice Selby. Hey, Beatrice, I give you a shout a little earlier, but Beatrice is one of our day one FYI followers, fan, family all together. And it's a blessing to have all of you here with us. As we every day we come on, we give the information, and it is so lovely to see everyone interacting in the comment section. It's good to hear your views. Sometimes we are here, we're giving our views, and we see the comment section say, but I have a different take on that. Those comments are absolutely necessary. We appreciate every single last one of them. You don't have to always agree with what we're saying and our point of view, but it's absolutely necessary for you to make your own comments. Let us know what is your point of view so that we can have this interactive discourse as we move along. I see Dolores is joining us also this morning. Good morning to you, Dolores. And I see Carol Figuera is here with us. Well, Warren is here with us. The US is in the house. Good morning to you, Warren. Warren, what are you doing this morning? What are you having for breakfast? Are you skipping breakfast this morning? And Pauline is saying the beautiful weather in Barbados this morning. I guess it's not raining. So Glennis Mingo Born is asking where is Sharon. He's going to be with you in a very few moments. This is the second day. He's a little late coming on. So I'm telling you, you need to pull him up with this, guys. I can't do this by myself. So when he comes on, let him know what is going on. So so much happening right now. Warren said he made bake and saltfish. That's quite a Guyanese breakfast you're having over there in the US. I see is what Amabel Clement. Good morning to my coalition family. Good morning to you. And I see Anthony Nicholson is there this morning, also joining us from New Jersey. So good morning to all the folks who's joining from New Jersey this morning. If you know that you're here and you have not shared the stream as yet, make sure that you share the stream. It is absolutely necessary that you do that this morning. I see Gordon Elliott. Good morning to you, Gordon. I know that name Elliott is ringing a bell somehow. I see. Carl Miller. I notice you all ditch the bouquet of flowers. From one time to the next, we can't just have the bouquet of flowers up and about all year round. So we have to change up the set a little bit as we move forward. Right? So Marlon King is saying, like, Shared is preparing breakfast. Well, he better be. When you're late, you have to be coming with something. You just can't be coming in late without anything. I brought something when I was late once. So Brooklyn in the house, Paulette Hicks. I am so happy to see all of you this morning. But a lot going on around the world, in Guyana and around the world. We have so much to talk about. Our big issue today is something that is most interesting and a discussion that we all should be having, especially with the times that we're living in. So our big issue today, as that come up, I want persons to know you have to stick around for that segment of this morning's program. It is most important that everyone is engaged in that discussion. But basically, we're going to be looking at, I'm throwing it out early, but we're going to be looking at conduct in public office, conduct in public office and the guidelines that actually monitor that, and what person should be adhering to the rules and regulations that are gazetted in Guyana for public servants, public representatives to go by. So good morning to you. As your Facebook user is up there, and I see some Radish. Radish is there this morning. Also, Alicia Thomas. Good morning to you, Alicia. I didn't see you here yesterday morning. I don't know if I missed it, but I didn't see you here then. I see Haikoni in the house. Suzanne is joining us from Maikoni this morning. Suzanne, I hope it's been wonderful up there. I haven't been there in a little bit. I have to come up, so most definitely will be coming there. And Patricia Liverpool is joining us from Brooklyn, New York. And I see Marlene Thomas. I'm noting your comment there, Marlene Thomas, but a lot for us to discuss, a whole lot for us to discuss. But we're going to go off very nice, and you know how we are. We always deal with the morning paper first and what is going on right here in Guyana. I see Stacy Mattes. Good morning, lady in blue. Yeah, I take the blue sometimes. I'm not always the color person, but as you notice, sometimes I do blue, sometimes I do orange. I think that's the most you get out of me with colors. So otherwise to that, it's all black. So I hope you guys don't mind that. I see Lennox Anderson is with us this morning also. And, the big man coming through. He's in the background prepping to come in. He likes to make this this grand entrance, as you would all know. So I'm not going to start our morning papers and morning train on. He has to do some explaining as to why he's late this particular morning. You know, second morning in a row. This can't be tolerated for long, guys. We cannot tolerate all of this. He has to give explanations. And guys, you need to share the live stream this morning. A whole lot. This is how he comes through. Believe it or not.
Making an entrance. I told you.
This is how he comes
Making
through.
an entrance.
Oh my, yeah, you're good. You're clear. So you can come through. Warren said you got to do push-ups. You got to do push-ups, you know.
Morning, everybody.
You know, so Marlon King is waiting for your explanation.
Morning,
just
everybody. Morning, everybody.
Take it away.
Right? I spent so much time trying to get Jarita ready. I left myself undone. So much time trying to get Jarita ready. But good to see so many of you early this morning. Y'all up early, boy. Warren, how are you doing? Warren, how are you doing?
Charles said, cut his damn time, Jarita.
let me get set properly. Good to have you guys. Good to have you guys.
Oh my goodness.
And we wanted you guys to take in more of the set too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, they did notice. But persons did notice that you moved the floral arrangements.
Yeah, yes. Yeah. We're gonna have them back. We're gonna have them back. As I heard you just saying, we gotta mix things up.
Yes.
Every now and again, we gotta mix things up. But it's good to have you guys. Sherlanda Beresford and Marilyn Thomas, Rosie Rose, Jeff and Stacy Mattis, all the other fantastic folks. Good to see you guys. Good to see each and every one of you. Cecile Ogle, you know, where would we be without you guys? You guys make the program what it is. I was listening to an old Whitney Houston song this morning, and one of the lines in this ballad was, "Where would I be without you?"
Where would I be?
You know, we wouldn't be
I
any
know
place.
Different songs say, "Where would I be?"
Right? Y'all are like the stamp to our letter, right? The lyrics to our song. You guys are so special to us. We love being here with you guys in the morning. I look forward to it.
Yes.
I look forward to it.
Well, for folks that were joining yesterday, I think we owe them an explanation because some persons were knocked offline during the program, or the ending of the program yesterday on Facebook. A couple of persons were knocked offline.
They're not. Facebook give you all a hint. Y'all are too much. Give you all a hint. Alicia Thomas, good to see you. Glentis Mingo Bourne and Claire Capel, guys, we really, really heartened. And you know what? I really want to say a special thank you for all those persons who help us out every month.
Yeah.
To meet our financial obligations. Folks, these shows aren't easy to put together. They are very costly. And, you know, we're trying our best here to give a very professional production as we believe that you deserve and as we deserve as a people. To give you guys credible information, it means getting folks to do research for us. They are service providers. We need to be housed somewhere. You know, the lights need to be kept on. The internet needs to be kept going. The staff that helps us to bring all this together as well. And, you know, you guys come on board and you all help us. And we're inviting, you know, we need so much more. We need so much more. But I want to say thanks this morning because we're at the end of the month. And I want to say, well, we got a day left. Yeah. But I want to say thanks to all of those persons. It is very meaningful to us. Honestly, every single penny is very, very meaningful to us that you guys embrace us in this way and see the value in the program to contribute to it. It is really, really touching. And I want to say thanks to everybody who make these shows possible.
Most definitely, and a lot of times, you know, it is amazing to see the ordinary man and woman being able to contribute to something that is so important when it comes to information and the way in which persons receive information in today's world. So it's a beautiful structure altogether when you can just sit there in your home and be able to contribute towards the sustainability of this program.
And you know, those of you who can, please do contribute to our program so they keep going. You know, and we keep getting some little love notes when people give to us. You know, one woman would say, you know, son, I love that son. You know, I ain't got much, but I'll give you all a little bit of the pension. You know what that does to you? To wake you up every morning and bring you out, energize you to come and do this one because you know people need information and we're not getting the kind of information elsewhere that we deserve. We want all of it, not some of it. All of it, all the information, credible, valid information, and to know that touches me. Yeah. Right. When somebody who has worked hard their whole life says, you know what, I'll give you all a small piece. from this little pension so that you all could do this because they see the value in getting the information. That really touches us, and honestly, God gives us put a little pep in our step to move forward, to get up every day and to do this. Correct. 70 shows per week, 68 per month, 816 per year. You know, that folks, we energize to do it. Yeah. Those are the numbers. Yeah. And this is what you guys contribute to making possible.
Yeah. And we are so thankful. You know, this is something that we could not do without you.
It's Thankful Wednesday.
Yes, Thankful Wednesday. Now we have to have a special Thanksgiving.
It's true. It's true. We are putting together some programs and some packages for persons who contribute to our program. We're putting together that.
We have a surprise.
Yeah, in the new month we're gonna roll that out. You know, those of you who've been so good to us, who've been so gracious to us, we're putting together some little packages for you to benefit and some programs. We have to have some meetups.
Of course.
You know, we can't always stay in the studio. We gotta have some meetups, some meet and greet. We want to get to know some of you, you know, more. Somebody wanted Jurita number yesterday. I think they wanted to know Jurita more. What's in the morning papers?
Oh my goodness. Well, one of the things I'm stuck at this one headed in the morning paper that says man to serve 7 years for killing wife in 2019. I'm kind of stuck on that.
On how much?
7 years.
Yes, and you know there's some others like that in the papers. There's one which says,
and this was a stabbing, fatally stabbing.
There's another one that says a man killed his drinking friend. They were drinking together, and some argument ensued, and one killed the other. 11 years for him, 7 years for this one who killed his wife, unfortunately, and then I think there's 8 years for somebody else. And one thinks, what is the value of a life?
Yes.
What is it? But I understand, you know, from having studied law, there is a range of penalty that you can give out and of years. But killing your wife in a gruesome manner, 7 years, killing your drinking friend, that seems to have attracted more years. And then you have to consider too, time the person might have been on remand and all of that. But, you know, it seems very, very unfair when you look at some of the sentencing. But it is what it is.
But that was 2019. 2019 that and it says I just want to read this part because it said Devanan Narain was yesterday morning sentenced to 18 years in prison for the 2019 stabbing death of his wife Farida, right? But following a number of deductions, will be spending just about the next 7 years behind bars. So
2019 to now, he would have been given 8 or 9 years. That's the value of a human life, unfortunately, in this country, unfortunately. And again, we got this serious problem we have been dealing with of violence. You know, I'm hearing in my ears, violence against women. And I think perhaps the judicial system have to send a stronger signal. Have to send a stronger signal that violence against women will not be condoned in any form, and violence on the whole will not be condoned. You know, there are other ways in which we can go about getting redress for issues, but I think a stronger signal has to be set.
We have a very serious issue in Guyana when it comes to violence against women, and that is something that I made note of in one program that Spotlight has been doing a lot of work on the ground with that, and Blossom has also been doing a lot of work on the ground. I think there's several others, but I know those are resounding names in my head, but we definitely need to be looking at it. We can't be losing lives like this. We can, and the cycle of violence is just continuing. So very, very sad situation there.
Correct is right.
That was stuck in my head.
Morning papers
this morning.
Yep. We're hopeful for those of you who don't get a chance to read the morning papers because you're so busy that we're helpful here. You know, it interests us. And, you know, by an extension, you know, even if we weren't having a program, because this is the nature of the people we have, we'd be reading the morning papers.
Yeah, we have to.
So basically sharing our morning. And we're so happy. Guys, pull up a cup of hot chocolate tea or Milo tea, and you know,
Milo.
Come, let's talk about some of these issues. What else we have?
Well, another headline that I want that is very important to us, something that we've been discussing also, is we see the headline this morning, and we're taking this out of the Starbucks News. It's saying fatal gaps in the decision not to hold impact study for New Harbor Bridge. The environmentalist tells appeal hearing.
Yep. I think we're going to be discussing this more in depth in the morning trend. So we're gonna circle back to that, but definitely
we've been talking about it.
We've
been calling it out for a while. So that's about it for the morning. for my
Yeah.
headlines in the morning
You
papers
you
this
also you
morning.
also have some stuff happening regionally. I
Mhm.
think you have. Let me just make sure I'm following my notes. For instance, Jamaica is now chairing the IDB,
Yes.
and so we are looking forward for great things from Mr. Nigel Clark, who's the finance minister of Jamaica. But one of the things, as I was reading the Jamaica Gleaner, where we're picking the story up from this morning,
Mhm.
is that they say because of his stewardship of the Jamaican economy,
Mm.
that they were all impressed. The folks at the IDB were very impressed. And Nigel Clark is now going to be, for his astute handling, according to the report we have here, the astute handling of the financial affairs of Jamaica during his tenure so far. Finance ministers
Mhm.
and other members of the board of governors of the Inter-American Development Bank on Monday elected the Jamaican representative. So I want to know what happened to Ashney, of course,
They said astute.
right? Because no,
They
but
said astute.
even I wanted to remove my bias,
Okay.
and my own thinking from it. These are, finance ministers in the region and elsewhere who are looking at how the Jamaican economy. There's not, one side of the political divide in Guyana.
Yeah.
And they say that the Jamaican finance minister handled their economy very astutely. And so he was being given this position as chairman
Mhm.
currently of the IDB. So I want to know, when they look at Guyana, what are they saying? Because remember, we have the fastest growing economy in the world.
Yeah.
So what's happening with we? Like gold by Turkey.
No, when you have all of the externalities, for need of a better word, when you look at all the externalities, one would understand why an asterisk may be put placed against Guyana altogether, and not particularly Ashley Singh, but an asterisk is placed to the country altogether when it comes to the manner in which resources are being managed
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
And there are some things that we're going to be talking about a little later in the program also, because I noted a heading that is coming out that none other than the vice president is saying what the oil money will be used for. And it's strange that even the finance minister couldn't identify what the oil money will be used for, but we have the vice president saying, "Oh, a portion of the oil resources will be used for this and that."
They've just decided. But that was
So-
the Jamaica Gleaner, folks. If you were looking, for instance, in the Jamaica Observer, a very important article came out of that. A policy, is that the correct name? The condition that Jada Pinkett Smith suffers from?
Alopecia.
Alopecia is no joke. That's the header for the article we're picking up out of the Jamaica Observer. And I'm happy that, in a sense, there's a silver lining for all of this. There's a chance now to discuss this whole medical ailment and malady.
I think
and
the second paragraph in that
Yeah.
in that article actually spells out what it is, what that
That's what I was
sickness is.
coming to,
Yes.
because again, you might think it's just this broad category,
Yeah.
alopecia, but they are varying. They're varying. What would you call that? Strains varying. Well, it's not a virus. Varying. I can't remember the exact term.
I'm not sure.
Right, but varying kinds of this illness, and so
There are different
again,
variations.
different variations. They have that has brought this whole issue to the fore, and women who suffer from this issue. And again, they're saying that it is no joke, and that dermatologists and patients say Chris Rock's GI Jane joke was inappropriate. And again, the silver lining is that it offers us now this opportunity to discuss this ailment at a national and regional and perhaps even at an international level.
But I think you said it that you see as a foundation can even come out for bringing awareness to what this particular illness is. And
Yeah,
so on
raising
and so
monies
forth.
for perhaps
Yeah.
further research and all that, persons who are suffering. And lastly here, in Trinidad and Tobago, if you guys have been following the Trinidad Guardian, the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian, there's an article there in which the header is "Show Tolerance and Respect." And this is being attributed to Dr. Keith Rowley, the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. And this in particular, why I love about this, the Prime Minister was recently at a service for the Spiritual Shouter Baptist Church in Trinidad and Tobago, and he was seen singing and that kind of stuff. And people have their own varying impressions and opinions about anything they don't understand, period.
That is so
And
true.
what he went on to say that he's anxiously awaiting the opportunity to worship with the spiritual shouter Baptists in their own cathedral. And I guess, person would have had a lot of comments on social media and elsewhere. And Dr. Rowley is saying that we must show tolerance and respect. And, this can go across the spectrum of things. People sometimes have negative opinions of Pentecostals. You call them the Cap Hand Church or Seventh-day Adventists. And it doesn't have to even be religion. It could be political beliefs also. Or anything you don't understand. People try to denigrate what they don't understand. And so, sometimes if you don't know, sometimes just be quiet.
Yeah.
But what Rowley was saying here is, in this particular instance, of the spiritual shouter Baptist, show tolerance and respect. And I think we can all go a far way if we show tolerance and respect. We don't have to agree, right? And we can agree to disagree and disagree agreeably.
Yeah.
In that way, show tolerance and respect. And I think that can go far way.
But I agree totally with that sentiment, because one of the things that we would notice, if we are to be fair and rational about when we are analyzing religion altogether, I mean, these are things that are very personal. It's very touchy for a lot of folks to go into those discussions. But if we're to be fair and have balanced discussion, we would see that when it comes to religion altogether, there are overlapping things in all of them, So you don't have this unique variation, but there are overlapping things in all of them. Good, evil, all of them have overlapping the beliefs that we can share.
There is more that brings us together than separates us.
Correct.
And I think, especially where religion is concerned, we come and met this debate and we can go and leave it. There's no conclusion to it. Right? There is no conclusion. As long as there is man, there will be a debate. What is the true religion? Who is the one true God? Who made God? Where God come from? Who made the person? Who made God? And all of that. That's going to continue. We can't end it.
But what I can say
Show
about
tolerance
that,
and respect.
well, exactly. What I can say about that is, whatever you go out and do, you have. I always say that we have our own conscience, and we can decipher wrong from right. And you have to go out there and do good. Do good. Just do good.
Do good. Yep. The trend. That's it for the morning papers. Believe it or not, that was the trend.
Sharon's going to be walking us through the trend this morning. He's late, and this is his bit of disciplinary
going through the trend.
Action.
Well, interestingly, if we start in Barbados, where we were talking early on about what is happening there.
I think St. Lucia has joined the CCJ.
Yeah, and that's coming out of the. You jumping? I do this trend for you. You see story here? Make I lose my notes now. Look, show tolerance and respect. Yeah. So in the morning trend, let us start. Did I pass that?
Yes, you did. You have to go back up.
My.
You see why you're late?
Yeah. But that's another thing in the morning papers. The Barbados Today papers, that's in the papers.
Yeah.
It talks about St. Lucia joining the CCJ as a full member, and that is in the Barbados Today newspaper.
Yeah.
We're still there. Thanks for bringing me back.
Of
Even
course.
though I wanted to go into the trend. Interestingly enough, it's only 4 countries that have been part of the CCJ thus far, and so St. Lucia would be the would be the 5th country. And persons are saying that is for specific reasons.
Yeah.
I think there was a whole editorial in the Jamaica Gleaner over the weekend about why Jamaica should not accede to the CCJ. Again, there's some allegations of corruption and influence peddling, and how regional leaders have friends who they call for favors and to skew judgments in certain ways and so forth and such and such. And so, there are lots of pros and cons at the end of the day. Why you should join the CCJ and why you should. For instance, there's been an argument that the Privy Council is too remote from the Caribbean experience to understand some of the cases that go before it. And then in the Jamaica experience, in this editorial just last weekend, they were talking about how them guys too close to the Caribbean experience and could not offer independent advice to governments because they're friends with certain heads of state and that kind of stuff. So there are pros and cons on either side, but I think as a region,
Naomi is Naomi's having a ball in the
I
comments.
think as a region, it augurs well for St. Lucia. It is a facility that we sat down as a community
Yes.
and decided we wanted to have, and it's rather strange that we only have 4 members thus far.
Yeah. But that says a lot.
And
That's
mind
what
you,
I can
we
say.
have some folks right here who saying we should pull out from the CCJ.
Yeah, I see that argument being.
We should pull out from the
raised a lot.
CCJ.
Yep.
Could we head to the trend now? Do
Yes,
I
you
have
can.
your leave,
Yes,
madam?
You can go ahead. You can go ahead.
We're in the trend, folks. We're in the trend. And again, we're still in Barbados because civil society in Barbados and elsewhere, because I know some folks from right here as well, have been pushing Mia Motley and encouraging Mia Motley to look into the fact that we have not had full coverage insurance. I saw another headline recently that says there is no concept like unlimited liability coverage. And then again, the Exxon Mobil CEO has said that they have set aside $2 billion or something like that in insurance for any kind of adverse event that can take place, an oil spill, for instance. But lots of folks are saying
they did put a specific word.
Legitimate cost to cover legitimate cost. But again, folks are pleading with Mia Motley, being a senior leader in the region, to look into this matter, because of course, if you have an oil spill out there in the Atlantic, that oil can go to so many other neighboring countries and cause harm to life and the biodiversity there as well. And so persons have been calling for Mia Motley to look into this issue on their behalf. Civil society activists, the report says. Yep. And that's on that front where I think regional issues are concerned. And locally, Jarita, our alma mater, the University of Guyana, right? Responsible for who we be. So if you all and think we are that, well, UG. Well, don't blame UG for that. That's on us. But any good, UG, right? UG has recently launched a master's in strategic development studies.
Yeah.
And we say kudos to them. There is the Vice Chancellor of the University of Guyana, Dr. Paloma Mohammed. Fantastic woman. And congrats to the University of Guyana community for this step in the right direction. Strategic Development Studies. They have now added this new master's. And I know Jorita has passed through the master's program there. She did public policy, a master's in public policy. Administration. Public policy administration.
Public administration.
One gives them is public policy, next is make up your mind when this thing is the
MPA.
MPH. Public administration. Y'all think we just run out here, Y'all think we just run out here and stand up. Jorita has an MBA. MPA.
Listen to me. The master's was the easy one. It was the degree in economics. When you have to do courses like econometrics, economic statistics, those things, that is the next level. Environmental economics you were doing. So a lot of times, people. I have to say with Sharon, so people think you just come out and you start talking.
Yeah. I'm still trying to complete my master's.
Yeah.
I took a pause to campaign, and well, that ain't Israel.
He took a pause to campaign, but when it comes to these things, you're looking at the environmentalists saying all they're saying. Sometimes we make comments on these, and a lot of times I tell people I don't say anything about matters that I don't understand. If I don't understand it, I don't comment on it at all, because that's how I am. But when you see I have passing to university, and there's courses like you had to do final year, 4th year courses that says you had to do environmental economics when you look at the extraction part of various natural resources and things like that.
French.
So you have to say French. Right. But there's a lot that you learn. That's why I appreciate at all times. And that's why I always advocate persons that are technically sound to be placed in positions where they can function best for us to get the best results as a country. Right? Because if you don't take the persons who are qualified to do those things, and those things take time, it's tedious studying. So you can't just take political appointees and just put them in the positions just because you want to control it,
If they qualify that year,
well, yes,
that's a good direction to go in.
Correct. Yes, if they're qualified. We can have persons heading institutions with diplomas and things that don't even concern the institution, when you have the technical experts just being there pushing a corner in the back room to do
Yeah,
absolutely
yeah,
nothing.
yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yep. And so, again, big shout out to the University of Ghana community for moving in this direction, the Masters in Strategic Development.
Yeah.
That's what we need in this
I'm
country.
considering it, by the way.
Strategic development. And guys, we've been talking about pace and power in 2021, in 2022. And I really want to encourage you guys. Some of you have been putting off starting UG, putting off perhaps continuing a program you would have done in the past. Go for it, guys.
Yeah.
Go for it. Go for it. Go for it. Let nothing hold you back. Performance, rather the other way around. Potential, the potential that you have, gonna become performance.
Yeah.
Go for it. Go for it. I know lots of you have been putting off. You say, oh, the children, and you gotta, wait till dating and get a little footing and so on, and then you can continue. Go for it now.
Yes.
Now is the time. As COVID fades little by little, and we open back up. Right? You all see what's happening in the US? You all know how much people die around the world? I mean, I look on the bright side, sorry, but you know how much vacancies are going to be created when the world opens back up?
Yeah.
Right? You have to be sharp. Don't wait till then and then to be running. Right? You see the coming down the road. Position yourself. Go and qualify yourself. You did a first degree you've been putting off. Moving forward. Go for it, folks. Pace and power.
It's always gonna be difficult. I just want to add that it's always gonna be difficult. It's never gonna be a time that is not going to be difficult. But once you start it, you're gonna complete it, right? There's a surety that you're not gonna get that master's if you never start it, right? That's a guarantee that you're not gonna get it once you don't start it. But when you start it, you give yourself the opportunity to complete it. So start.
Go ahead, guys. I told a friend of mine a couple of years back, and I could see UG cutting this whole section and putting it up on the Facebook page, saying, "Look at me stars over there, making me look nice." He was doing a diploma in something, and I said, "My brother, don't stop there, because again, I want to come back to what you were saying. It's hard. Oh, it's pressuring me, and this place and so forth is gonna be hard anyway." And folks, just think about this: if you do nothing, the time will pass just the same. If you sit and do absolutely nothing, the time will pass just the same. I am happy to report I kept pushing him. My brother went on to do his diploma in accounts. He went on to do his degree in business management. He even completed a master's. Right? I won't tell you where you're working at a nice, big, fancy place now. Right? Nice, big, fancy place from working. I think he was working in the earlys at UG of itself. In a nice, big, fancy place, earning some real money. Right? But you got to push yourself. You got to push yourself. Pace and power. I know who needs to hear this out there. I know, but we're in Acts chapter 3.
I see Winston Jordan is making a very a comment there. He said, please read a letter in the Stabrook News today, powerful and revealing, especially when it comes to the gold scholarship, that they're highlighting the fact that some of those universities there are way beneath the standard of the University of Guyana. And this is something that I thank Mr. Jordan for that bit of intervention there, because this is something that I have been telling people. A lot of times you see persons going there and they believe that they're going and they're signing up to these
overseas universities,
these foreign universities, and they have the perception that it is more credible and it's and the accreditation is given above the university. And no, it is not so. It is not.
And you know what, Rita? Online education has its value. I wouldn't knock that, because you can work around how you work, the time and all of that. And that deserves its own level of discipline. But that physical campus, and I tell you this, I don't care how bad they say UG bad, right? UG, I recommend them any day. Any day. The academic life, superb, and then your campus life. If you go to university, a physical campus, be involved. Judy and I spent a lot of time the other day talking about UG, right, and comparing notes. Even though we didn't know each other personally on campus, we were there around the same time, and we know some of the same people, right? And we were talking about how campus life impacted our lives. We haven't changed much, We were in campus politics the very same way, and we have continued. And so UG has been this part of our lives in this way, shaping us and guiding us all the time, academically, socially. You were testing your ideas, your strength during your campus politics days. political, forming your own campus parties and that kind of stuff. That's a beautiful
Those
experience
are the leaders.
that should
Those are
not
the
be
current.
traded.
Those are the leaders.
Right?
You were seeing the leaders of the
Yeah,
country
yeah,
being
yeah.
molded there.
And you know, most times people who couldn't make it in campus politics, they're making it now.
True, very true. We were
I
looking
am
at that
happy to
yesterday.
report, right? I'm happy to report I was student president at University of Guyana. How many persons can boast that? I was student president, folks, ran an election and won convincingly too against somebody who sits at the table with me this morning. She who shall not be named. Her party was beaten badly by yours truly. And I say not. I say for them, not.
And I, as we go down into this morning thing, I will have to give clarification, because if there's one thing that I know and that I am keen on, it's numbers, okay? And let me tell you, this badly beaten that Sherry Duncan is referring to, it's 6 votes.
A win is a win.
We ran an election that was so close that Sherry Duncan, his party, the Revolutionaries, run by 6 votes, SIX6, and it came down to the persons that go to campus on Saturdays.
Yes. Education students.
Those persons had to go and vote because it was so tight. They couldn't determine between Berbice campus and Turkine campus who won the election. 6 votes. And mind you, I want to add, because Sharon is not going to be at liberty to tell you this, but the very next year we came back and we won. So
after I won the year before,
6 votes,
right? 6 strong votes that took us over the finish line. 6 strong votes. Go Revolutionaries.
No, but I want to add an important point to the discussion. Very much so that I'm confronted. First of all, congratulations to the University of Guyana for this program, the strategic development studies, a master's in strategic development studies. So congratulations, and I commend. I'm going to tell you personally, I commend this program to anyone that wants to go there do masters. I myself may very well be taking it up, because I think it's a very good master's program. I've been examining the details of that particular program. But what I want to tell persons is, when it comes to the accreditation, a lot of times, especially people that want to plan on residing in the US, or any other country, they believe that the University of Guyana is not accredited to the point. So they're like, why would you go? And a lot of talks, I've been hearing these talks, even people that live in the US that say that you will just be wasting your time if you go to University of Guyana because it's not accredited. And that's not true. That's not true. And that's something that's a misinformation that you need to understand. Because I want to use this example. My best friend left Guyana after doing civil engineer right here. She went over to the US and she migrated there. And when she was there, person was, you got to start over from scratch because your university certification will not be valid over there. Well, she said as they talked, she was signing up for a review of her papers. And when the review was done by that academic board over there, they actually gave her, they evaluated and they weighted each of the course that was done and so forth. And they gave her a higher GPA than the University of Guyana gave to her.
I can see your cutting this section, Eugene.
So, no, I'm very serious about it. It goes to show the weightiness of the University of Guyana's programs that they're offering. So persons need not take it lightly. And don't ever think that it is not accredited in the US. It is. You just have to go and do a review of what you have.
And let me just add to that. This friend that Rita has a lovely, cushy job with the state in which she works, with the state of itself.
Yes.
A very cushy job with that same UG qualification. Nice time. Nice time. Moving on in the morning paper. So that's what's happening at the University of Guyana with this Masters in Strategic Development. Congrats there. But we're seeing one of our members in the diaspora has lost his life. Esan Ben, who was a coach locally, would have lost his life. He was stabbed to death in New York quite recently, Esan Ben. And we want to say our thoughts and prayers go out to his family, his loved ones, the community that loved him. And, did a lot of work locally as well as a coach. And again, I hope that the persons who did this will be brought to justice.
Correct.
Right? The persons who did this will be brought to justice and be brought to justice very, very swiftly. Eastern Ben, gone. Yep. Moving on, folks. Moving on the trend this morning. The GDF The Ghana Defense Force, they're preparing for the trade wind exercise in Belize. The trade wind exercise in Belize.
I am sorry
Jump
that
in.
I'm sorry I didn't that I didn't handle the photograph for this particular headline this morning, because I remember a very interesting photograph of the GDF on training that I was thinking when I heard that they were going to do this trade win exercise in Belize. But all the best to our GDF. You know that the Guyana Defense Force, we are always here rooting for you, because
Yep.
we believe in you. We
Going,
believe in you.
going from strength to strength. So our boys are off very shortly, in very short order, to exercise trade wind in Belize. That on that note, we now head on to the fact that 38 young mothers have graduated from the Education
Yes.
Ministry's reintegration program. I love this. I love this. Keep empowering our folks. And not because you got pregnant early means that's the end of your life at all.
Yes. So it's a 38 young mothers, and they're actually adolescent mothers that they graduated with cosmetology skills, to be exact. And I want to say that this is something that I commend, but I think it has to be handled very carefully, because I was having a discussion during the weekend home with some folks in Bartica. I was having a discussion, and one of the things that a complaint that I received by two different teachers is that although they support this program of reintegrating persons, especially when it comes to into the school system, one of the complaints that I got is that one of the schools have a 20-year-old that was reintegrated into the system after he would have been working. He would have been working, and he has his own businesses and so forth. So now he's back
in teaching at the school.
No, he's reintegrated as a student to get himself qualified and so forth. The issue is that
20 years old?
now he has teachers that are younger than him, right? So, and he has his own business, and that is goal. That is gold, right? When talking about gold mining, that's a different aspect. That's a different culture altogether. So the teachers are expressing concern, because when you integrate persons of that age and coming from a working lifestyle back into the system, it is very difficult for you to manage the interaction with younger children.
You sure we got the age right? 20 years old?
This is something that came to me from two different teachers. The complaint that came to me two separate occasions. So most definitely, they said it's more than one of them. So
yeah. Well, we'll put an asterisk over that and circle back to that one. So, but kudos to the Ministry of Education with this reintegration program again. Not because you have some little, I wouldn't want to call it pregnancy an infraction, but in a larger sense, you have some little setback that happens. It means that's the end of your life. Your life hasn't started yet.
Yeah.
Your life hasn't started yet, right?
Yeah.
So kudos to these young women who are putting their best foot forward and moving ahead. And don't stop there. Keep moving. Keep moving. The other thing that's on the trend this morning, the oil reserves, the Vice President is telling us, will be used to help to strengthen Ghana's water system. So you are talking early on. They find out now what to do with the money.
No, but I just want to remind persons that the Vice President isn't Barry Jacques, isn't speaking when you go out to the people, but in public, and you make these statements, and then when you go to the National Assembly, and those statements can't be made there because it can't be recorded in the Hansard, because they are saying when it comes to the official records of the Parliament, the National Assembly, to be correct, when it comes to the official records there, we have on record in our Hansard that the Finance Minister was saying that he cannot identify specific projects that the resources will be used for because of the methodology and the mechanism that they will be utilizing to actually spend the money when it is taken, when it is withdrawn from the NRF, the Natural Resource Fund. It's going to be placed in a consolidatory fund with all the other monies, and then monies will be taken out from there. So you can't identify specifically what projects it would be used for. So for Barry Jagger to go out there now and say, the monies will be used for this, it's madness. It's crazy. You can't go making statements like that is going contrary to your own policy. Your policy says that you cannot identify where the monies are going to be used for, because when you make a statement like that, it begs the question, it will give the impression that persons will now be able to go out and audit this specific set of money that is going to be utilized when it comes to what is he saying there, to strengthen the water system. And that is not so, because the system that is being used but does not allow for that. It does not allow you to track it like that.
Perfect. And this is the perfect segue to our what they said or what he said or what she said segment, because Peeping Tom in the Kaito News this morning has a fantastic column on the fact that the administration seemed to be pulling projects out of thin air to fund without the requisite research being done. And this whole drainage and irrigation issue came up. And this is what Peep and Tom, folks, if you haven't read today's Peep and Tom column, or you've never read it, this is one you should read. It's available online, Kaito News. The header of the column, the Peep and Tom column, is the government is plucking projects out of a hat. And as part of this column, here's what they said. Increased investment has long been touted as a means to create jobs. Every time it is revealed that the government has offered extremely generous concessions to investors, the government claims that this is in order to create jobs. Yep, the investments have been coming, but where are the jobs? The Marriott was supposed to have generated local jobs, but when the hotel was commencing construction, the media discovered that the majority of workers were Chinese, and that the only local on-site Guyanese was the gate man, was the watchman. Investment has not had the desired impact on jobs, nor has public spending on infrastructure. And one of the things one of the things that they are contending, this is the Peep and Tom column in Kaito News, is that all of these projects with drainage, the drainage projects that are being created, they are being created to create jobs, which is a good thing, but there are no studies. Who is informing them that drainage needs to be put in this area and that area? And they're saying that the technical experts, which you mentioned earlier, should be the ones who do the studies first.
Correct.
And then inform the policy.
Yep.
Right? But there's a policy, and then you send the technical experts to confirm what you think.
Yeah.
Right? Who's driving these policies? And part of what the column talked about this morning is the fact that they say, oh, they went out and talked to stakeholders. Who are these stakeholders? That is some of the questions the Peep and Tom column is discussing this morning, with the header, the government is plucking projects out of a hat. I feel so too. Plucking projects out of a hat. And that's where that is concerned. And then in other news, folks, we're learning that a doctor and a GDF rank who were arrested as part of that Ministry of Health probe into larceny and theft as one of their bonds, they have been released on bail. The doctor and the GDF rank who were arrested as part of that operation there. As you know, for the doctor, a large amount of cash was found in his car when there was a search at the bond there, and his car was searched, and also guns and ammunition were found in his car as well, but they're being released according to the report that we have. And that's what's happening on that front. This doctor is being released, and the GDF rank. Yep. And that's what's happening on that front, folks. And now we head into the biggest issue for today. The biggest issue. Jarida, take it away.
So for the biggest issue today, we're looking at conduct, the code of conduct and conduct in public office altogether. And there you see it, the code of conduct of public officials, to be exact. And that's a big issue for today. And I think it's absolutely necessary that we start this discussion. This is just an initial phase of it, but we have to be discussing what is going on in public office right now, guys. And I want to start the discussion off by quoting from the official Gazette of Guyana. And this is coming from, this was gazetted on Thursday, 27th of July, 2017. And I'm going to go straight to the most important aspect of it.
This was the coalition government presenting this code of conduct.
Correct. This is a coalition government formulating and presenting this code of conduct when it comes to persons in public office, and especially the ministers, particularly ministers, right? And it says, Article 8 says, when it speaks to sexual misconduct, and it says, Article 8.1, no person in public life shall pursue a course of conduct which amounts to offensive sexual comments, gestures, or physical contact, or such conduct of a criminal nature under the Sexual Offences Act. and no person public of in public life shall, in the course of the performance of his or her official duties, pursue a course of conduct by which he or she exploits his or her position or authority for sexual gratification.
Yep.
Right?
And I dare say, to use Judith's phrase, that there's a whole long list
Yeah.
of do's and don'ts where it concerns public office and the code of conduct.
Yeah.
And I think, every minister, every government official, every permanent secretary,
Yeah.
every deputy permanent secretary, finance official, every person who is in public office should get a copy of it. It
Yeah.
doesn't have the force of law, but it should inform us.
It should.
It should inform us as a people how we should proceed. And if this government means well in terms of good governance, this is a good way to go. To give this perhaps the force of law. It's a good way to go. We had started the process.
Correct.
It got to the point where it was gazetted. And I'm certain if you want good governance, because you know what? We got a lot of creeps out there.
Yeah, but
We got a lot of creeps out there.
What's-
And allow me to say that too many ministers, male ministers, have been in the past and currently have serious accusations of being
sexual misconduct.
sexual misconduct. Sexual misconduct. Too many. As a matter of fact, the current gentleman who heads SOKU, right, has some. Well, there was actually an investigation that was done by the Police Service Commission, and the conclusion of the investigation is a public document said that yes, he was guilty of sexual misconduct, right? And too often we see this repeated over and over in government.
Yeah.
Too often.
Well, the whole point of having a gazetted document when it comes to code of conduct for persons in public office the whole point of it is because there should be consequences. So the fact is that this has never been pulled back. There has never been a piece of documentation to override this. So as it is, this stand.
Yeah.
This stand.
Yeah.
That is how government works.
It's a guide.
Right. This is the guide that the government needs to be following. And I want to repeat, especially when it comes to part 2 of Article 8, that says in the course that no person in public life shall, in the course of the performance of his or her official duties, pursue a course of conduct by which he or she exploits his or her position or authority for sexual gratification. And that is a very profound piece of guidance there. When you're talking about the code of conduct for especially ministers, these are things that we need to follow word for word to the book. So a lot of times things are not spelled out in the law that this is a criminal action and you can't pursue it by law because it's not a criminal action. You have to come back to the point that it's misconduct in public office. That is what it is. And when you when you are clothed in state power and you utilize that to influence persons and to go out there and for your own sexual gratification, it is wrong. It is morally wrong. And as we've seen here, it is not just morally wrong, but you are breaking the code of conduct that was gazetted in this country in 2017. And the government needs to be operating by this code of conduct, because I'm saying that since they took up office in August of 2020, they have not pulled this back and they did not substitute it with any other documentation to override it. So this is what it is.
Yeah.
Right? This is what it is. So persons need to be very serious. And I dare say that as a woman, it is a concern of mine that we are seeing so many things circulating when it comes to misconduct, especially sexual misconduct, because we have had, and you've been speaking about, we have had so many cases within our country that we can speak about matters before the court and so on and so forth. But then when it is at the helm of the administration and the helm of government altogether, how do we go about our days as though it is a normal day, business as usual? This is impossible. We need to take these things extremely serious. We cannot just allow these things to just go by as though it didn't happen.
Correct. And I'm trying to find some notation that I had on Kamala Persad Bissessor in Trinidad and Tobago, because Kamala in her heyday as prime minister had fired a lot of her ministers. As soon as you slip up,
Yeah.
you're gone. I mean, it didn't argue well for her for political longevity. Well, I shouldn't say that in particular. That is one of the reasons why I admire Kamala, because of what she stood for. And there's a particular issue, a particular piece of literature she had put out there when she had fired one minister in particular, that I wanted to have a look at. It just came back to me. Go ahead, Edric.
But there are other examples as well as to more other countries and how they handle situations. And I remember this particular matter with AOC, with Alexandrina Cortez from the US there, right? I remember this particular matter with her in which she was saying that she was verbally assaulted, basically by the use of, I think it was two words or just one word, in which another person said to her outside whilst walking by, or some nonsense. But the seriousness of it that was taken, and the fact that she was allowed to ventilate properly how she felt and all of these things. I believe it was in the Senate, if I'm not mistaken. But when we come here to Guyana, these things are just pushed aside as business as usual. Another day, another day on the dam. That is the manner in which it is treated, and
Correct.
we have to move forward, and we have to move faster. And I dare say the coalition put a code of conduct in place in 2017, and it still stands. It still stands today.
Yeah.
And it needs to be followed. You can't gazette something and not be following it. It has to be followed.
This is part of what Kamala Persad Bissessor, when she was Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, this is way back in 2015, said publicly as she was firing one of her ministers. He was, and mind you, let me give you his transgression. He was on an aircraft. He was flying from Trinidad, flying back to Trinidad, and he was very abusive in language to one of the stewardesses. Very, very, what they deemed to be obdurate to one of the stewardesses. And when she dismissed him from cabinet, she said, "I hold no brief for any man or woman save the greater public interest. I am always aware of the higher expectation upon which this government was elected and the immense responsibility each of us have to uphold the public trust in all that we do every single day of our lives. It is not a responsibility we can choose to have one day and lose the next." And there was a larger text, but this was the gravamen of it. "I hold no brief for any man or woman save the greater public interest." And this really and truly endeared Kamala at this time to me as a serious woman. Kamala had fired about 10 of her ministers over the course of her tenure as prime minister. As soon as you slip up, you're gone. And if we're serious about conduct in public office, about the image we have out there, then certain things cannot pass and should not pass, because it's a party represent. And we see too much of it. We saw a lot of it in the National Assembly in just the last 2 years alone. And if certain things are allowed to pass at the level of the National Assembly, then what tone are we setting? What example are we setting for the nation? And we can see and we can appreciate that some of what has gone on in the National Assembly and allowed to pass seem to have emboldened.
That's what I'm saying.
Seem to have emboldened some folks to do other things.
Yes, exactly.
And that has to be a concern to everybody, because again, there's this whole concept of using your influence of the public office, right? Malfeasance in public office, undue influence, right, being brought to bear, pressures being brought to bear, influencing, using that office. And as you rightly said, when you when you close it rather in state power, you have to conduct yourself differently.
Correct.
Right? Conduct yourself differently every day. You got to think about your actions on social media, off social media, on the road, how you interact with members of the public. But some people believe, well, it's a nice time now because we in power.
Correct.
It's nice time.
It's very sad, and I think that this bit of documentation needs to be circulated. Persons need to know the standard to which we should be holding. You should be holding public officials all together, and And I dare say every time we go out there, myself, I know Sherry, we go out there and we are very cognizant of the fact that we are not judged by the same yardstick as the ordinary man and woman walking on the
Yeah,
road.
yeah,
And that is a fact.
yeah.
Right? When you join politics and political life, that is what you sign up for. So you can't just expect to be, oh, well, this is another day. Like I said, another day on the dam. You just go do whatever. It's not like that. You are guided differently by different pieces of legislation, different pieces of guidelines altogether. And those are things that nobody should be taking lightly. So I resent, and I can use those strong words. I resent seeing persons try to defend certain actions and saying that, oh, well, there's no crime there. Yes, there is a big wrong there. This is misuse of public or sexual misconduct, and those things. Those things are big wrongs. It's not like something that those. Yes, you can go and fix a certain amount of jail time towards these offenses, but they are documentation, gazetted pieces
Yep.
that are there to guide the process, and those gazetted words says this is wrong and should not be done, and persons should be reprimanded for those actions, right? And the reprimand needs to come from their superiors there in the administration.
But the hypocrisy there in that instance could be you have people who are guilty of the same crimes trying to reprimand others. We've had tapes surface in this country with people soliciting sexual favors for friends and all kinds of officials in government. This is a country in which we live that never faced any reprimand. We've had a senior minister, who only because of public pressure was relieved of duty when he threatened to strip and slap a young woman, only because of public pressure. And it took weeks of public pressure. And he was relieved of duties. They were in an election cycle.
Yeah.
They were in an election cycle anyhow, and we know how that went. That didn't age very well at all. But that being said, there is criminal
Still at the
wrongdoing.
helm of government today.
Yep.
I want to know that.
Yep.
So
There is
for that.
there is criminal wrongdoing, and then there is moral wrong too. And most of us got an internal compass, right?
Not all of us.
That's what I said. Most of us, that moral compass that says to you almost instinctively, this thing here wrong. This thing here wrong, right? Most of us, but some others apparently not. And we saw, soon as some people from this administration came in, the first month, we saw them trying to give business to family members. Family company. You can't be a minister, your family got a company, and you engage in the company to do business for the ministry. That's a conflict of interest.
Yes.
That's in the law too. Conflict of interest is part of the procurement law. Conflict of interest, right? And if that's how you start, small wonder we're seeing lots of other things. Small wonder. And so we got to guard against that. I know what? Another discussion. And again, because so many senior officials doing the same foolishness, right? It is just what is happening to in my mind at a personal level, graduating. Because last cementing, we got to knock down everything.
My goodness.
Right? We cannot let board pass. We have to catch every board. And it's that same kind of thing amplifies itself. We often don't really look at the anatomy of leadership, but leadership don't conceal, it reveals. And so whoever you are as a private citizen,
It's amplified.
it is amplified. When you get public office, you hire, now everybody looking up at you and seeing everything under you. Right? And so it doesn't conceal, it reveals. And what we are seeing here is revealing who some folks are, is amplifying who they are.
But I want to make the point also that a lot of what we see and the things that are circulating from persons that utilize technology a whole lot, persons that are on social media and so forth. So information is shared like that. But I want to remind persons that in Guyana in particular, we have hinterland locations that are not as connected as we would like them to be at the moment. And because of that, a lot of things happen there. There that is never brought to light. And persons and young women are so scared to come and talk, A lot of them are in the hinterland locations, and they are experiencing the same level of sexual misconduct by certain members of the administration. And they're afraid to come out and speak out about it because they don't believe that they have that family support and community
sexual
support.
misconduct. There is sexual predation, there's sexual grooming
The grooming
happening
is
by
just
senior people in government. And that is part of the challenge that we have. When if you're doing it, how you gonna reprimand me? Right?
exactly.
Quite recently I saw something very strange happen. And we don't want to talk the things that need to be talked about. Look, you have this guy, Akani Blair, who was involved in some serious infractions at Guy Oil. He was on tape,
Yeah.
wheeling and dealing, influence peddling
Mhm.
in Guy Oil with a private contractor. Right? Oh, you bring this little business here, you can get 5 cents, I can get 10%, the CEO can get how much ever, and who else ever, and who else ever. Lots of people were implicated. It was so bad. Irfan Ali removed him
Yes.
off of the board. He belonged to Anug at that time. Came from the PPP and belonged to Anug. The infractions were so grave. Irfan Ali on national television said he has been removed. He will no longer function there. I was surprised yesterday when I see in the headlines, Mr. Blair has resigned from Anug and he's back with the PPP. I was surprised by that. So like he served time. Right? He wasn't penalized. He wasn't penalized, save and except he was removed from the board. But the damage has already been done. But the PPP, happy to say, right, he's joining us now.
Mhm.
He's coming back to us.
Mhm.
Right?
So it says to us that
That's the tone we set in.
it says to us that them removing him was not because of the wrong that was done, but more so as a reprimand for not being in the fold.
Right? I don't know if,
Right?
if the message was well, the message was saying, you see what we do for you here, you better come home back.
Exactly.
You better come home back. So you can imagine that, and the tapes are there. This is public record. All of this was out there. That you have this large shipment of oil that was being brought in by this company, and they were dividing up among themselves, right? How they were going to jack up the price and who was going to get the extras and all that. And he was on that basis removed.
Mm.
And yes, I didn't see the PPP yesterday saying where, joining which party. All the news headlines said he's gone back to the PPP.
I would.
That's the signal we're sending to this country. You can do whatever you want to do. You're always welcome here.
Oh my goodness.
Do whatever you want to do. You're always welcome with us. Right? If that's the signal we're sending, how are we going to reprimand people for sexual misconduct? If we ourselves are involved in grave misconduct, sexual and otherwise, how are we going to reprimand other people?
It's crazy.
We can't. And so y'all don't want to talk about the issue, but there are real issues out there. And Juita said it well. You got people who are known specialists in the hinterland.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Specialists in the hinterland. As we say home, the name Stinker Road. The specialty. And you know what's the specialty? Oh, he got a child in Kaikan. He got 2 in K2. Mm-hmm. He got 1 in Paramacatai. Right? And you are vested with state power. Mm-hmm. Right? You got people who are known to be predators with young boys. Predators. And you vested with state power. What do you think will happen? They can change? Hmm. They're going to change?
That is a very upsetting discussion for me altogether, because I literally try to hold my tongue on certain things before at least you see somebody is more offended than I am. But
emotional distress.
But this conversation is like I said, we are starting a conversation here at this table this morning, but it's a conversation that needs to go out.
The challenge is,
that needs to be had.
The challenge is, I tell you what, two of the challenges we have, that we have, two of the challenges. We do not have the leaders with the moral authority
to go do it,
to have the discussion. Because lots of them are compromised. We do not have the leaders with the moral authority to have it, right? And the second challenge we have lost those leaders who had the moral authority. And it's not only here, regionally, it's something I've been looking at and studying. We used to have giants in this region that could intervene in matters. We need some intervention, but so many of the Caribbean leaders, so many, not all of them, you got some good ones, but so many of them are compromised that they have lost their moral authority to intervene, to speak, right? And not be incriminating themselves, right? And not be saying you're a hypocrite because this is what you're doing. We have lost that. We used to have it in the region. People of high moral standing. We've lost it in the region and we have lost it at home, right? Whether they have decided to stay quiet, or through the effluxion of time, they're no longer here with us. But we got to watch that because we're heading to a dangerous place. If there's nobody to sit down like in the village and say, why are you wrong? What are you doing here? Right? We've lost that. We're in some serious trouble.
And I want to caution leaders at more so the local governance level, especially when it comes to far-flung regions and more so hinterland regions. I want to caution persons, especially to shouts and so forth, that you need to be protecting persons that are residing in these villages and communities, and not offering them up as a sacrificial lamb in some cases, So you're there and do your part, and ask for help if help is needed. If you believe that you can't fight persons off on your own, you have to seek help. The public is here, and the public is going to be that guide and that support system. We have so many things to be done, and we have to invest some a bit of trust when it comes to the fact that we want local representatives to be able to safeguard the communities, and especially young women that are living there. And that's something that I'm very, very worried about, especially with all that is going on, all that we're seeing. And I have so much more to say on this matter, but I am telling you that this is just the beginning of this discussion, and more.
It's a discussion we need to have. We need to have it because there are some things that are sitting right there below the surface. We perhaps need our own Me Too moment.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Because a lot of things are happening right there below the surface. Right? But a lot of people who are in public office right now would got to resign if we really have that deep discussion, because they have no place in public office.
No business utilizing taxpayers' dollars. None whatsoever.
To satisfy your own sexual gratifications and other things. And we're going to continue this discussion, folks, but it's been our privilege having you guys here with us on FYI. All of our favorite folks, all the many hundreds of you, we're so happy that you guys would have joined. And it's a discussion we need to have as a family.
Yeah.
Right? These are tough discussions you have to have as a family, but you have to have them nonetheless. You have to have them.
Yes. But guys, I'm so thankful that you joined us and stayed with us throughout the program this morning. And I know that you will be back tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. for FYI. And also we'll be here at 12 noon for Below the Belt. And then this evening at 8 p.m. for In the Ring. But as you go on, I encourage you to make sure that you share the live stream. I want specifically today's program, especially when it comes to conduct in public office, the code of conduct that we've been discussing this morning. It's something that everyone needs to know, especially young women out there. I say that because a lot of times young women are so vulnerable to these situations, but we are living in a time where even young men need to be very aware of the circumstances and be on the lookout and safeguard themselves against these predators that are, like I said, clothed in state power. Better must come, in the words of the great Mr. Hughes, Nigel Hughes. Better must come, Joita. Better must come. And we gotta have these tough discussions and move forward. Change we ways, we nasty thinking dirty ways, and move forward. But good to have Tony Hack with us, Naomi Drucker, and Marva April, Jarrett David, Glenford Gordon, all the fantastic. Good to have been here with Jorita as well, walking through these many issues that we have. Sharon Mercurius, good to see you, Sharon. How are you doing? Maureen Chester Paul, good to see you, folks. I love having you guys here. Love being here with you folks as well. Good to see you, Marva April, Marilyn Thomas, Jennifer Barb and Jorette, Wendy Rowland and Travanza Williams. Good to have you folks here. See you guys on the podcast at 12, where we come back to you with more information, perhaps a guest or two, perhaps. It's good to see you folks. Good to see you. And sure, guys, come back and partner with us. We need your help to move forward, meet our obligations. We know you guys are going to do that. You want to know how? Message us, WhatsApp us, 627-6963. We can tell you how you can do that, 627-6963. Good being here with you today, folks. Brenda said she's going to water her plants.
Yeah. What are your plans, Brenda? Brenda Torali, what are your plans? Have a great morning, guys.
Have a good day, guys. Bye.